Welcome to Mindfulness for Beginners. Looking for a different recipe for the weekend or want a tasty Indian lunch? Then tune into the Tastes of India podcast. It's a weekly food and recipe podcast where they share tasty Indian recipes. You'll also find your weekly dose of motivation in some of the stories that they share. Listen to the latest episode on your favourite platforms or visit thetasteofindia.com. And if you're enjoying this podcast, then I would encourage you to share it with other people through email or social media. Today we're going on a mindful walk, so grab your headphones and let's step outside. Hello my friend, I hope you're happy, I hope you're peaceful. We're doing a mindful walk today. I'm on location in a kind of an open clearing next to a wood, close to where I live. And I don't know if you've ever seen Little House on the Prairie. It might be a bit before your time, but it's the hill that I'm looking at is a little bit like the hill that they run down at the end credits, covered in flowers. In recent episodes of the podcast, we've been talking about achieving union with reality, meaning that we set aside the model in our head for how the world works, our assumptions, beliefs, labels, and instead we open ourselves up to the wonder of the everyday and the mundane by living through our senses. And there's no better way of touching reality than getting outdoors. Spending time in nature is really important for your mental health. It can improve your mood. It can reduce feelings of stress or anger. It can improve your physical health. And it can help you to get out there and meet new people. And in a practice of mindfulness, being close to nature helps us to touch reality and ground us in the present moment. I'm sure you've experienced seeing a squirrel or a bird in the garden, and everything stops. The whole family crowds around the window to watch it. And in that moment, our regrets from the past and anxieties about the future fade away, and we can exist through our senses, calm, happy and free. And that's available to us wherever we are in every moment. And if, like me, you've been working from home most of the time, you can get through an entire day and realise that you haven't been outside. When things are really busy, it's easy to put our well-being on the back burner. But during tough times, it's more important than ever to carve out some time to work on your peace. And you can do this by going for a walk before work or during lunchtime. Or if you're having a catch up with someone, you can do it over the phone outside. However you make time to go outside, a really powerful way to get in touch with reality is through mindful walking. So we frequently rush from one place to another with our mind on the destination. But when we walk with mindfulness, we don't walk to get somewhere. We don't walk to get fit or even to work on our well-being. When we walk mindfully, we are walking to simply enjoy the experience of walking. We've got no other aim in mind. And when we walk mindfully, we walk slowly, as you're walking now, slowing down the pace to a couple of steps, 1 or 2 steps for your in-breath, 1 or 2 steps for your out-breath. And we're going to focus our awareness on different things as we go, beginning with the contact that our feet have with the floor, how our body moves when we walk, and noticing our breath, our thoughts. And then we're going to focus externally and spend time giving 10 breaths to different things we see along the way. So whether you're in the park, in your garden, or at home, you can stop for a few moments and really focus your attention, even if it's something that you've walked past a million times before, and see it through new eyes. It's what we call beginner's mind in the practice. But we'll begin with the contact that our feet have with the floor. As you're slowing down, you can begin to notice the pressure of your feet on the ground. And as you take each step, you can feel the pressure begin at the heel of your foot and flow through your sole to the toes. Then lifting from the heel again. Really focusing on that feeling. Noticing the connection with the ground. And as we do this, we can notice thoughts arrive and leave, not being swept away by them, but accepting them, smiling to them, letting them go, and returning our attention to the feeling of walking on the earth. We might feel some gratitude for our feet, being aware of how important they are for getting around. And now continuing to breathe while we focus our attention on the feeling of our feet on the earth for a couple of minutes. I have arrived. I am home, in the here and in the now. And next we can notice the rest of our body, the feeling in our leg muscles, the movement, the bend of your knee. How your arms move when you walk. Any areas of tension, might be in your back or in your brow. Not necessarily trying to change those, just noticing that it's there. Noticing areas of the body that are warm or cold. Just bringing that spotlight of awareness to your whole body as you walk. I've arrived. I am home, in the here and in the now. And we can also notice our breath, a column of air between our nose and our diaphragm. Noticing where an out breath ends and an in breath begins. Where an in breath ends and an out breath begins. Not trying to breathe in any particular way, not trying to force it. Just breathing in a way that feels natural for you. And we can notice different dimensions of our breath. Notice how the in-breath feels cooler. Our out-breath feels warmer. And we can notice how our shoulders rise as we breathe in. Our stomach falls as we breathe out. And as we walk, just continuing to follow our breath for a moment or two. I've arrived. I am home, in the here and in the now. We might notice ourselves becoming distracted by worries or concerns. That's okay. We don't judge ourselves for having a busy mind. In fact, we can take a moment to focus our awareness on the mind, allowing thoughts to enter our awareness, noticing what feelings we have attached to those thoughts and allowing them to leave again. Smiling to our thoughts, even our difficult thoughts. Not seeing them as the enemy. Understanding that the mind is a tool that we use and that we are more than our thoughts. Our thoughts are something that we experience. And if you're outside like I am, you might choose to look up to the sky, see clouds passing overhead. And just imagine your thoughts as those clouds. I have arrived. I am home, in the here and in the now. And taking that spotlight of awareness and turning it to focus on the outside, on the external, starting to listen to what we can hear. So that might be bird song, the wind through the trees, buzz of the bees. It might just be your breath. Just taking a moment or two to notice what we can hear. And we're going to do a favourite practice of mine, which is called 10 breaths, which someone from my Sangha, my mindfulness group, shared with me. And that's where we stop our walk and we focus on something and notice all of its dimensions. So if you want to just pick out something, you can stop and notice. So I'm come to a stop in front of a huge oak tree, and it's so big that its branches almost touch the ground. So I'm noticing one of those branches, noticing the shape and the colour of the leaves, the size of them, how they're connected, the texture. So just taking 10 breaths to notice what we can experience. And then pulling our awareness back from whatever we've been observing and continuing our walk. I'm going to find a couple more things we can focus our attention on. Taking a few steps and again picking out something. I'm going to sit on the grass and have a look at a dandelion. And of course we have a model in our head for what each of these looks like. And if we observe closely enough, we can see that it doesn't quite tally up, it doesn't quite align with reality. And in the case of the dandelion, I can notice that the edges of its petals are ragged rather than being pointed, which is something I've never noticed before. So again, whatever you've picked out, just taking a few breaths to notice its size, its shape, its colour, its texture. Just immersing your awareness in that object. And standing up again, which takes a bit longer than it used to for me, and returning our awareness to our mindful walking. I think we've got time for one more object for our 10 breaths. And so when we sit back down on the ground, I'm going to notice this long-stemmed grass. Tall, it's green, it's got leaves and a bushy top. And whatever you've stopped next to, just taking some time to observe its different dimensions. And then returning to our mindful walking again. Feeling some gratitude towards ourselves. We're taking 20 or 30 minutes to focus on our well-being. Enjoying the feeling of being out in nature. Feeling gratitude for nature. And may be happy, may be peaceful, and may see yourself through the eyes of understanding and compassion. Slán Abhaile, and I'll see you next time.